The Season 5 patch to Marvel Rivals, as well as the introduction of Gambit, has changed the meta significantly, not just in the strategist category, but across the whole entire game. We've got some buffs across the board to Vanguards, Duelists, and Strategists, and all of these changes have shaken up the meta an absolute ton, and that means the strategists that are in this game, in terms of which ones are the strongest, are no longer going to be the same as what we've had in previous seasons, because the meta has changed so much now that we need to be picking different strategists that offer way more than just healing to our teammates. And that is what we're going to cover in this video: which strategists are the best 4 to select from for Season 5 to make sure you complete those 10 placement matches with ease, and on top of that, allow you to keep progressing through the ranks as you continue to play the game. First up, we've got the obvious one, and that is Gambit. Now, if you want a full guide on Gambit, then you can check out the channel. We already have that there for a more in-depth on how to use his abilities. And also, if you want to see how the meta is going to stack up for Season 5, then we also have our tier list on the channel. I'll leave both of those videos linked at the end of this one. But when it comes to Gambit in particular, he can pretty much do everything, and that is what makes him an absolutely S-tier strategist for Season 5 of Marvel Rivals. Now, you can do everything, like I mentioned, so his damage output is pretty solid, not only in his primary attack, which is very easy to use, by the way, but also with the fact that he can damage boost himself as well with his card abilities. But not only that, he's able to provide clearing to his team, which means if his team gets hit with an Agamotto, one of his standard abilities is able to negate the effects of that ability almost entirely, which I find is pretty strong. Now, not only that, his healing output is not too bad either. It's not the best in the game by any means, but it's definitely not the weakest either. So you could definitely use him to heal up your team pretty significantly with your primary fire, your secondary fire as well, and also your card abilities once more. And all of that together just makes him a super strong strategist in general. But not to mention his uptime is just ridiculous, right? So the amount of abilities he has to keep himself alive is insane. He's got his dash with the spin, which keeps him alive a lot longer. He can slam the ground. He can also use his primary fire on his team. He can also use his card abilities. All of that means that he's in the fight constantly, or at least healing constantly, or doing one of the two. He's got tons of uptime, and you're never going to be out of the fight with Gambit, which is pretty insane because a lot of the other strategists in this game have some kind of downtime to some extent. Now, not only that, he's got one of the best ultimates in the entire game as well right now, and it's mainly a team-based ultimate, so you can't just use it to stay alive for a ridiculous amount of time, but you don't really need to use it for that, right? Because if you use Gambit's ultimate in conjunction with some of the other ultimates in the game, you're actually boosting these ultimates to be extremely overpowered, by the way. For example, if you use Gambit's ultimate on Doctor Strange to boost the speed of the Eye of Agamotto, he hits that ultimate so quickly the enemy team doesn't even know what's going on. And it just means that you need to combo maybe 3 ultimates in a row, but you're definitely winning a team fight off the back of that, which I find is pretty insane. Not to mention you're getting a damage boost on top of that as well. Yeah, I think it's just a crazy combo, and Gambit just offers so much to his team. It is pretty ridiculous. Now, it does take a little bit of time to master this hero, but definitely take the time to learn him because he is super fun to play. Well, now that we know that Gambit's either going to get insta-locked or banned in the higher ranks, then who do you select next? And the next option you have is Mantis. Now, she's not the strongest strategist in the game, but she definitely offers the same kind of versatility that Gambit does. So if you enjoy his playstyle, then Mantis is the next best option in my opinion. She offers the damage boost to her teammates when you need it, so you can use your flower ability and offer the damage boost. You can also offer the healing as well, which is not the best healing in the entire game, but it's definitely good for healing up fast moving teammates. So if you've got any dive based teammates or any flying teammates, you can easily heal them up without a single issue, and you don't really need to track their movements or anything like that at all, which I think Mantis is really good for, to be honest with you. So that is why Mantis does get picked a pretty decent amount, because if there is a dive comp on your team using a Venom or whatever it may be, a Daredevil as well, then Mantis can easily heal those teammates up without having too much stress, right? And then, not to mention, she does output solid amounts of damage as well, and that is with her primary fire. Now, you do need to be a bit more consistent with your shots, and you do need to have a bit better aim with Mantis than you do with Gambit, and that is kind of one of the reasons there is a bit of a trade-off with this hero, because she does require you to either hit your headshots or just hit shots in general. But when you do hit your shots with Mantis, you are getting some of the best damage output a strategist can offer in this game, and that's what makes her really fun to play. Not to mention, mention, our base movement is pretty solid as well. So if you're not taking any damage, you do get a bit of a movement boost with Mantis. So you are able to try and evade shots a little bit better than if you are playing any of the other heroes in this game. But overall, Mantis is very solid, and not to mention her ultimate is one of the best support ultimates in the game, and that is just that keeping your teammates alive. That is the kind of main purpose of her ultimate there. But like I said, the fact that she outputs that much damage, if you want to use her in triple support, you definitely can. But she also does do a decent amount of healing, enough to run dual support and not have any issues. So for the most part, I think Mantis is the other more versatile hero that you can play. Now, if you're a strategist connoisseur and you just want to heal your team to the best of your possible ability, then the only strategist you should be using is Invisible Woman. Invisible Woman offers some of the best healing output in general when it comes to any hero in this game, and with her slight buffs that she got for the season 5 update, just make her the best strategist, especially as the main strategist, right, in your team. Now, she's able to shield her team with the shield wall ability. She's able to now shield herself as well, which can be extremely useful, especially when tanking certain ultimates like an Iron Man ultimate. You can literally put it on the floor in front of you now and literally block all the damage incoming, which makes her kind of like a Vanguard to some extent. You wouldn't really think of it that way, but she basically has a 250 HP shield that she could put in front of her, which is just as strong almost as a Captain America or an Angela shield. It's not exactly as strong, but it's close enough. So overall, she's able to shield herself when she's healing up as well, and not on top of that, she's able to heal up a little bit faster and deal a bit more damage than she was doing before, because her projectile speed has now been improved and the damage output was buffed as well. But in general, she's just able to heal faster and deal more damage over a significantly longer range. And then on top of that, her push and pull effect was buffed by a slight distance as well. So overall, all of her abilities are now just going to be a little bit easier to use and provide just that little bit extra amount of value. But Invisible Woman was already strong before this update, and she already was a good pick for every single season since she's been in the game. She's never really been a weak hero, and now that she's been buffed to this amount, with having one of the best support ultimates in the game, just makes her a really powerful strategist, and she's definitely going to be the main strategist for season 5. Now, for the final strategist in this video, it was between Rocket and Jeff for me personally. Now, if you're going to be playing mainly strategist by yourself, then I recommend playing Jeff because he is a little bit stronger in terms of healing output. But the reason why I chose Rocket for this video was because I actually had a game, which you'll be seeing in the background right now, where we actually get stomped on in the first round of one of my placement matches. And then I switched to Rocket for the second half, and my teammate switched to Penny Parker, and it's safe to say the enemy team didn't even get to touch the point at all in this round just because of that team up. And that team up makes Rocket actually kind of broken, to be honest with you, because sitting in the penny mines, or the penny nest, whatever you want to call it, while spamming out heals, and now you can spam out 7 orbs at a time, which is pretty ridiculous. And then also his damage boost, or essentially the fact that he's got a bit more damage output with the fact that his projectile speed's a little bit faster on his firing weapon, just makes him a really solid pick. You're going to get good kills and finishes with Rocket if you can hit your shots, and that's what makes him pretty solid. Now, you want to save your double dashes for when there's a big ultimate coming in, whether it's a DPS ult or a Magneto ult or something like that, and just kind of dash out the way. His movement is a bit slow now. I don't like the fact that they moved his movement tech really down the list in terms of strategist, because Rocket used to be a really fast moving hero, and I actually quite liked his playstyle like that. And I feel like they should buff his jetpack to go over a further distance. I know if you're running on a wall and then you dash, then it does go slightly farther than if you're just dashing in general, but most people are just dashing from the ground, right? But regardless of all of that as well, he also has one of the best support ultimates in the game as well, and then that's not even to mention the BRB drone as well, which allows you to revive teammates back, which is so much easier to use than an Adam Warlock res. I know that Adam Warlock res pretty much brings your whole team back, but the fact that you're able to bring back teammates without the enemy team even knowing about it is really strong. So Rocket, ridiculously good, and like I said, that damage boost as well as the overshield you get from his ultimate is pretty solid too, especially in those situations where you know you're going to lose team fights. Then you could just whip this one out at any point in time and guarantee that you can swing the tide of the fight, and that is what Rocket is really good at. So that is the 4 best strategists for Season 5 of Marvel Rivals. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe, as we will be making tons more Marvel Rivals content, but you already knew that anyway, and thank you very much for watching.